Hello, this is Stuart from Hear Me See Me podcast. I've got a great guest with me today. I'm really excited about this because this goes to the root cause of what this podcast is about. It's all started with Haircuts4Homeless, and today's guest is Steve Evans. Hello, mate.
Hello, how are we doing, Stuart? You okay?
Really good.
Nice to meet you guys, whoever's on.
Yeah,
it's a privilege.
There's normally 3 or 4 people listen to it, so
It's all right. That's good.
What we'll do, because I put a little bit on there about the fact that Steve is. We met Steve as a companion at an Emmaus, which is one of the homeless places we service at. He's now become one of our volunteers, and wonderfully, which I'm so proud of, and so proud of our Queen of the North, Jackie, is that he's going to become one of our team leaders. So let's take it right back, Steve. Like, where was you brought up? What was your sort of like?
So obviously, I'm 34 now, 34 years old. So it goes back to Wythenshawe Sale. That's where I was mainly brought up, born and bred. Obviously, in my time of being a young kid at that age, growing up to like 15, 16, 17, it was really, really rife. It was really bad. These people getting stabbed on each corners and just violence all the time. And so I wasn't really well known as a kid when I was in Wythenshawe, like, obviously, because I don't know, maybe I kept myself to myself a lot, quite quiet. I was packing a bit of weight on then, so I was a bit of a chubster. So people probably, I got bullied a lot when I was in school. Didn't take it very, very well. But yeah, then as I was getting older through school, it's a bit of a traumatic time in school because mentally I got bullied. I got scared to do things, scared to turn up at school and all that sort of stuff. But got a long story short with that, when obviously I was leaving school, I managed to stick up for myself towards the end of it and brush those people off that were giving me a bit of an hard time. So it started for me when around college days, what would have been then, like 18, 19, maybe, something like that, 17, 18. Always wanted to prove myself, always wanted to be that sort of Jack the Lad, trying to be somebody I wasn't really, and getting in with the wrong people. And time was just going on into my 20s, doing the same thing. Obviously not proud of some of the stuff that I've done. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to keep anything from anyone, but I used to sell a lot of drugs years ago. Not proud of it at all. Everything was all good when I was making the money. Used to owe people money. Used to try and get myself out of situations, embarrass myself. It didn't go down the right road. It didn't go down the way it should have gone for me. It was the complete opposite. So, it's sorry if I'm talking at 100 miles an hour, like a little bit nervous, but
it's fine.
Okay.
Fine.
So it started after leaving college. Couldn't hold a job down at all. So like I went to college for trying to do all these different things that I wanted to do as young. I want to do this, I want to do that. So I'm a fully qualified joiner and bricklayer. Never, when I left college, never done anything with that. Tried getting into a job. Couldn't hold it down for more than the first couple of jobs that I got for a month, maybe. Couldn't hold a job down. Always just wanted to prove myself to other people. Getting in with the wrong people was just not the right thing for me. My mum always used to say to me, "You're an unbelievable kid. Do you know what I mean? You're brilliant. Why do you have to prove yourself to other people? Why do you have to? Why are you doing this? And never used to listen to her. All the choices he used to make were just ridiculous. Looking back at them now, just ridiculous. But So the mother of my daughter, obviously she's 9 now, my daughter. So I've not seen her for a long time. I'd probably say about seven years. My first ever real relationship, where it all started from after leaving college, was 22 I was when I met Rebecca. She's the mother of my daughter. She's a fantastic mum, but she just stopped me from seeing her. Basically, the relationship was just toxic. It was just constant arguing all the time. This was before my daughter was even born. And she cheated on me with one of my best mates who I grew up with through college, through school, and that was hard to deal with. The homelessness started from that period when I decided to leave after being with her for 2.5 years. I got to spend time with my daughter till she was like 1.5, 2. And because we were arguing over the same situation, what just wasn't fair for my daughter. So I removed myself from that situation and got myself a little shared accommodation. And ever since then, it's just been an up and down roller coaster from left to right. You know, it's couldn't hold a job down, couldn't hold a house down, struggled to pay my rent, struggled to just all the common things that most people struggle with, and if they make wrong choices. And so then I decided, that was in Lee, that was in Wigan, that's where my daughter's from, so that's where I lived. We had our own household, me and Rebecca, as a little family, and then obviously that all got torn apart through just that one thing. But so my family were telling me to come back to Manchester, get yourself sorted, we'll help you get over this, we'll help you, you know, stuff like that. So that took it to, I was 20, 24, 25. So I was living with my sister, but because of this split up, this is where it all started to stem from. I had so much depression and anxiety that was running through my body. I used to be one of them people as well that used to think that it could never happen to me, if you know what I mean. Like, I'd never get depressed. What's people who are depressed? I never could understand what it was until my body could feel it. Really, really horrible. I was living in my sister's house in the spare room, just wouldn't leave the house. Always felt people were looking at me. I wasn't accepted. Just felt disgusted in myself for some apparent reason. So I was just living in a room for a year, a full-on year. And my sister she's brilliant. My sister, she's fantastic. She's been like the heart of my life to turn things around. Obviously, my mum and my dad, they was patient with me with most things. I always used to mess up. I always used to say everything will be okay. Everything's going to be all right. I'm going to change my ways. And I just never did. I just always used to go back to selling drugs. I always used to never used to take them at that point, though. Never was taking drugs. I always used to just sell it. And it was just money here, and always with the people that thought they were my mates, but they're not my mates. They were just there to just spiel off what I was earning. And it was a crazy time, that part. But obviously I'm going back and forth because I don't know where to start, so I'm just gonna go with it. And
can I pause you then, if you don't mind? We'll leave it at where you are now. So your sister's helped you out a lot.
She has, big time.
But there's a couple of things that pinged at me, and I can only go by my experience, and there's things that you relate to yourself, you know.
Of course.
And so go right back to when I used to school, because I think people underestimate that. They see it as something trivial, but that bullying, the bullying, when you get the point where you don't want to be there, you feel like on edge the whole time. I mean, I'll share with you mine, and a lot of people don't. I've not really spoke about this before, but there was this kid at my school. See, my sister was 3 years older, right, and she went out with the best fighter in the school. You know, the tough guy, the toughest.
Yeah, the cock of the school.
Man, right. And so, you know, I'm really cocky, so I think I'm Teflon coated, you know. And then all of a sudden, I reached to the sort of end of the second year to the third year, whatever that is in English nowadays, and they left. So I was like, I would know.
I'll take their spot. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's no one gonna, you know. And this one kid hated me, you know, and I probably brought it on, but I was so scared because what he done, he come up and clumped me, and I'd had a few fights, but I was. Some people you find intimidating, didn't you, in life?
100%.
And this kid, he was a year older than me, I think, and he just took a dislike to me, and but I couldn't stand, you know, like I'd have my eyes over my shoulder the whole time, and sometimes I'd hang out in a classroom on my own.
Yeah.
because I didn't want to be like come across him.
It gets to that point though, where
Yeah.
if you're in the same classroom as him and you've got, it went so deep with me, just mentally, just completely just destroyed my mind. Like, I don't want to. And some people who I didn't want to tell my mum, didn't want to tell my dad who was getting bullied in school. I didn't want to, and I'm not too sure, maybe embarrassed, or I just didn't want anything else to come of it. We're going to bring my mum into school, and then they're going to think that I've been telling, and it was crazy. But what I was scared of, Stuart, at that time was it wasn't just these two people used to be like the head of the group. So these two people would be the center of attention in the situation. So then, but there'd be another 3 or 4 of them with them. So there'd be about 6 of them. So like, I always used to be like, when they did, a few times they laid their hands on me, and when they did do that, I was scared to retaliate, because all I had the picture of was me hitting one of them, and the rest of them are just going to jump on top of me. So that's what I was terrified about. So I always used to just take whatever punishment, and I didn't help myself really with that. Yeah, and that's why it got stronger and stronger. But towards the end of the year, like my dad was very strict with me. My dad really strict when I was growing up. Obviously when I was young, but as I was growing up through school. And then I never told my mum, but he eventually told my mum. He was telling me, listen, you've got to stick up for yourself. You've got to stand up for yourself. And it's like, no, just can't. It's not in me. I just can't do it. It's either I've got a long fuse, or I'm just a bit of a like shitbag, if you know what I mean. Anyway, towards the end of the year, as we done all our exams and we done everything like that. But my dad said, you need the person that's giving you that pressure in front of all of his mates. If you do something and stick up for yourself, I don't think the other people will touch you, because they'd be shocked. But I never used to believe him. Yeah. At the end of that year, I ended up sticking it on him, and my dad was right. They just fizzed off. Like, it never had a problem after that. Out of school, never had a problem. But if I would have done that year 9, year 10, things wouldn't have been as bad. But it's good to take advice off your family. It always is, and you don't think to do that when you're young, because your mind's not with it. But as you get older, and now looking back at it, and looking back at all the times my mum and my dad and my family used to say, this is it now, you need to book your ideas up, or you're not going to have anything in life,
And the other thing that struck me was, as well, is you said about, like dealing drugs, and that, I often find that when I meet people, and I meet some very talented people who are at the sort of the bottom of the pile, like they're in homeless centres, they're in, and they're very talented people, and like you say, there's other people, and like you said, qualified joiner, and you've got skills and that. But what people underestimate, I think, sometimes, if you've had a touch, a piece of that easy money, like the drug,
it's addictive. Yeah.
It's like, how can you ask the kid to go and work for 80 quid a day when he can earn that in 5 minutes? It's the heart. That's the thing. I mean, you can't take it away. If a kid don't have that around his life, it's fair enough. They can make that choice. But once you've tasted that, it's a real difficult thing, isn't it? And if you're in that area where it's prevalent, it's an hard choice to make, isn't it, to go the right path? Yeah.
So, like, obviously, if you don't mind me going back to the situation at my sister's house. So I had, at this point, obviously when my daughter was born, I was kind of still doing it, but I wasn't. But once I had to stop this drug situation, because it's not me. It just wasn't me. I was just putting this cover on. Money was great, everything was good. But now looking back at it, it was definitely not me, because obviously I'll get to that in a bit. But all the things I've accomplished now, which I'll get to, is mind blowing for me, because when I was in that situation, I never would have thought all the things that I couldn't do myself, I've managed to do now. I've left it a little bit late, but I am actually proud of myself. That's one thing. I've never been confident about myself, but that's one thing I can actually say, that there's not many people who get through them things, you know. It is sad in some situations, but yeah. So I had these two phones at my sister's, and the phones were both of them were lines for that. And my sister said, if you want to live here and you want to get yourself sorted, and we'll help you, you need to get rid of everything. You need to get rid of absolutely everything. I was having people knocking on my sister's door 3-4 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's not great. So I made that promise to her that I was going to turn my life around, and this time it's got to be it, you know. So I did that and kept to my promise, and my sister helped me throughout absolutely everything. She's an absolute angel, and I wish she was actually listening to this podcast now, to be fair, because I thank her so much. We were a bit distant now, me and my sister. We still speak, but we were just a little bit distant. We've had a few little ups and downs, but she's been the heart of my life, and my family have. I know I'd be dead in a ditch a long time ago if it wasn't for the people, my friends, because I was around good people. That's what's guided me to where I am today and to make me the person I am today, you know. So but yeah, so was living there for a year, and then I'm thinking to myself, because it's going round. After being at my sister's, I was arguing with my sister because I was under her feet, as people do when they live with the family. They get under people's feet, and you can't help that. And I was quite annoying because anxiety. I never wanted to do anything. My sister was doing everything for me. The only thing I'd do was go to the toilet, have something to eat, have a shower, go back in the room. That's all I'd do for a full year. My head was just all over the place. But anyway, she started, you know, she was mollycoddling me like, oh, everything's going to be all right, Stephen. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. And this went on for a good 6-7 months whilst I was there. But then she changed the tone with me by saying, she thought, I've mollycoddled you for 6 months. You're my brother, and I know you better than anybody else. You need to pull your finger out your fucking ass. Sorry if I'm allowed to swear. You need to pull your finger out your ass, and you need to. This is it now. This is it. You need to get yourself out of bed. None of this. Stop smoking weed. Stop doing, you know, all that sort of stuff. You need to get yourself up and find you a job, and that's when it started to move on. But this is the thing, when I got a job and I worked for my sister's friend, he owned a life insurance company. It was called Be Insured, and I thought, I can't sell life insurance. What's it? But it's a job, Stephen. Try it. You know, try it. And I've got you the job. Try it. Just see, you might be good at it. You might, if it's not for you, go somewhere else. So anyway, I ended up going to this life insurance company, and I got the knack of it. I was like, everybody. They told me how to do it. I was training and stuff like that, and I managed to just take to this job. People were saying, "Oh, it's quite hard to sell policies," and I was selling. I felt like Leonardo DiCaprio off Wolf of Wall Street.
I was thinking of that. Wall Street.
I was thinking to myself, I've just sold a policy to someone. Never thought I could ever do that. And for the first 2 months of me having that job, I was the top hitter. I was making £500 on top of my income.
Really?
Commission for 2 months. And then obviously it started going downhill again then. So it's because I had that lifestyle of being in that sort of lifestyle when I was young. You come across people, you can't help that. You come across people and you start getting in the mix again with people. And that's all it's ever been with my life, is just since I left my sister's. Got a job, couldn't hold it down. Tried getting into a shared accommodation, couldn't hold that down. Then I'd end up homeless again. There's sofa surfing on my friend's house and stuff like this. So then it got to that point where there's got to be something like, I don't know. I was saying to myself, I need a bit of guidance, I think. That's what I thought to myself. I think I need help. I need to be supported, because I'm not going to be able to do it myself. Because I'm just going round in circles. So I started scrolling on the internet, started doing all different things. And I ended up going to this place called Batel. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
No.
It's a Christian organisation, and obviously I'm not a Christian. Unfortunately don't believe in God or anything like that. But this was like a place where you could go. You could just try to get to know yourself a little bit more. You'd have, so it was like a hostel, but not. It was like it was like this place, like a family, but it was a bit too strong. They were forcing a bit of God onto you, and that's a place that if you was really bad on drugs, and you needed that sort of help, then you'd go to that place. It was more of a rehab. But when you go out and you work for them, you do a bit of fencing, you do a bit of gardening, stuff like that. And this is where it all changed for me. So I was in a garden. I was obviously doing the hedges and stuff like that. There was 3 of us on the team. And it was like come to 12:30, and we sat in the owner's gardens on the chair. We had our lunch, and I was with 2 people. Forgot one of the names, but this guy called Peter, and he was from Switzerland. He was living at this place called Battelle. He was like a team leader though at that point. He transformed his life around. He was really bad on drugs, and he was telling me a bit about his story. And then obviously he turned around and said, "So where else have you been then, Stephen? Have you been to any other places like this?" I said, "No, this is the first time I've heard about Battelle. Like, it seems all right. Like, this is like a couple of days in, so I didn't really settle in." And he was saying, there's a lot of other organisations, not just this one. So I was like, all right, okay. So what else is there and stuff like that? He said, "Have you ever heard of a place called Emmaus?" So I was like, "No, never heard of it." It's like, well, this place keeps you on your toes. They try not to let you go down the wrong road. It was more strict, Battelle, to Emmaus, because Emmaus was that sort of moving on sort of place where they'd let you still live your life. They'd let you go out, let you do whatever, they'd trust you in that sort of sense. But Battelle didn't really do that. They were always had eyes on you. They always, so that's what I thought was a little bit uncomfortable whilst I was there. But when I was in that garden, he was telling me all about Emmaus, and I thought to myself, that's more like me. That's what I think I'd fit in there more, because it gives you more of a chance to move on and change your life. So he told me that, and I went to sleep that night. And the next morning, I packed my stuff, and I just said, I just thought I'm going to chance this, and I just packed my stuff, and I thank the people for giving me a bed and giving me a place to stay. It is a brilliant place. What they're doing is fantastic, but it's just doesn't suit me, because I wasn't bad on drugs. I was just more or less trying to find a base for myself to maybe think and see what the next step was. But I woke up and I said to one of the team leaders, he was called John, and I said, "Listen, look, I appreciate everything you've done for me over these past 2 days that I was there. But you're doing fantastic things here, but it's just not for me." And he's like, "Well, where are you going to go?" I've heard about this place called Emmaus. Somebody said, "Oh, you don't want to go there, Stephen. You really don't want to." They were trying to keep me there because they thought it was wrong. Because if I wanted to, whilst I was here, I could take drugs if I wanted to. But it's the trust that the staff here give you, that they trust you to. Listen, we're not gonna keep tabs on you all the time. We want you to live your life. We want you to do things. So it's that trust there as well, which is brilliant. So I ended up just leaving. They gave me £2 to go and get the bus or the train, or if you can get £2 with that. But I managed to get somebody to pick me up. It was in Derby, Battelle. That's where Battelle was. I'm based. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was on like this farm. It was you were just literally in the middle of nowhere. But so I ended up getting picked up, and I phoned my sister and said to her, and she must have thought she definitely did think on the phone, "Here we go again. He's got nowhere to live, He's so what I'm going to She was like, "What are you telling me then, Stephen? Why are you phoning me? You're telling me that you need my couch again? Is that what you need?" I was like, "No, in fact, to be fair, potentially kind of I do for a couple of days, but I've heard about this place that seems really, really good for me to go. And if you'd let me come back to your house for a couple of days, a week at the most, I'll fill the application form out as soon as I get there, and I'll wait for the phone call." So I came to my sister's, I filled it all out online, and it gives you like the Emmaus give when you fill out you have to self-refer yourself. You can't, nobody else can, you have to do it yourself. So filled out the application form, blah, 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 and all that. And then at the end of it, it gives you options to pick. I think it's up to 12 or 13 Emauses across the country. I actually wanted to stay in Manchester. I did. That was the first place I clicked on. So I clicked Manchester, and then I clicked Sheffield. Just saying to myself, a little bit of a fresh start, not too far away from my family. So I clicked quite a few. Within the space of an hour of me submitting the application form, I got a text message on my phone off Leslie, the CEO here. And she said, if you're free tomorrow, Stephen, if it's okay, I don't know what time it was, about 2:30 or something, we'll give you a call so we can do a bit of a session over the phone with you, get to know you. So I spoke to him, all that sort of stuff. And I was smoking a little bit of weed at my sister's. So that was in my system. And when on arrival here, you know, they don't like you having drugs in your system. If on arrival, if you have drugs in your system, they tell you to leave, go out your system, then you can come back. But I didn't know that because they didn't tell me that over the phone. So I didn't know that. I've come and they've told, I've spoke to them. We obviously got to know each other on the phone a little bit for like 20 minutes. And she said, we'll be happy for you to come down. Would like for you to come down. Would like to offer you a place. And the weight off my shoulders was just unbelievable. It's a good feeling. So I ended up getting the train down. And when I came, they said, so what we've got to do is you just got to fill a few forms out, and then we're gonna drug test you. And then that was it. My stomach just turned. It was like, oh God, I've had a joint. And she's like, is there anything we need to know about? You know, is there anything we need to know about? Just if you say it before we ask you, and if you lie, it's just not going to help you. So I just bit the bullet and I just said, listen, look, you don't know me. From Adam, I'm just stood in front of you. You don't know if I'm lying to you, but I have messed up. I've had a couple of joints at my sister's house, and that's what you should be expecting on the test. I'm not come here to lie to you. I've come here to just tell you that this is it for me. This is the end of the road. If this doesn't help me and I can't get a place here, I'll probably go back to my old ways. I don't know what would have happened, but for two people, Graham and Leslie, and now to say it, they're just remarkable people, unbelievable. Not just because of what they've done for me. It's just the personality and the persona about them. They used to be ex-probation officers, so they've seen everything. You lie to them, they'll smoke you out. They've seen everything. So I just told her, and I was honest with her, and then she said, well, let's do the test anyway. So she was probably thinking that they were going to find something else in the system as well. They took the test, and it was just cannabis. So they said, can you just leave the room a minute whilst we just have a bit of a conversation between ourselves, and we'll see what happens. And they gave me that chance to sit. So they came back in and they asked me, when was the last time you took cannabis? So it was the night before. The night before I was coming here, I had a joint at my sister's. So he said, right. So then it worked out. They gave me 30 days for it to go out. They let me live here. They give me my place. They give me, they give me that trust. Yeah. And the fact that they said, well, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to see if you're capable of being trusted, and we're trusting you. So we don't want you to really shit on us, if you know what I mean. We're giving you this chance. So, so I went back to my room, all that sort of stuff. Then they came up and they said, we're going to give you 30 days for it to go out your system, because it takes 28 days to go out your system. So if we give you like 30, a full month should be out your system. And so I was here and obviously knuckling down, getting to know the place, and now it's just unbelievable. From where I came from that first day, I'll never ever forget it. From that first day, and my life was just upside down. It was just there was nothing going for me, and these have given me the opportunity to turn it round, to do courses, to do things that I want to do in life, and to move on. Obviously, if I got my own place in the future, they pay your first month's rent, deposit. They just look after you. But I don't see them as members of staff after me being here. So I've been here for over the space of 2.5 years, near enough. I left for a couple of days, but then that was a bit of a hiccup. so it was a bit of a barrier in front of me that I just thought, because it was continuously doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
I just thought things are not moving forward as the way I want them to, and you can't rush. You cannot rush things, but I'm wanting it.
We
to
want it
happen.
now, don't we?
Just like, yeah. And so I left for a couple of days, and I stayed at one of my friends, and then Leslie phoned me back and said, "Stephen, you can't. You need to come back, love, because out there with you not having anything behind you,
yeah,
or a job or anything or your own place, it's gonna go." So I listened to her, came back. So really, in all fairness, I didn't really leave. It was only 2 days. So I'd probably say that I've been here for that space. I like to think that I've been here for that. So it's been like 2.5 years. Apart from that hiccup, 2.5 years that I've been here, and the stuff that I've accomplished, the things that I've accomplished here, I would never have dreamed of that I would have been able to do it myself. All from what I've been through, and obviously I've kept a few things out from when I was growing up and stuff, because I'll probably end up crying. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really want to start getting upset. It's a bit deep, that sort of stuff. So I just kept that out. But so me being here has made me meet you guys as well. It's made me connect with you guys, and that was like the icing on the cake for me. That so. I've done the courses that I've done. I wanted to be a security, so obviously wanted to work. My main job that I wanted to do was, door supervision or some sort of security job in the security industry, and get my SIA course. But the money that it is about £600 to do the course, and then after you've passed it, or you have to just pump so much money into it. It's £190 just for the badge. So I couldn't do them things, and Emmaus said to me, if you show us that you're a hard worker, that you need to obviously prove yourself. Excuse me, you need to prove yourself, so that we can see that you're capable of doing it. We don't want to pay £600 for a course and you just don't turn up, because we lost the money. So for the first year, I knuckled down, proved myself, and my confidence when I was here wasn't very great, because it was the start of my journey here. Very nervous around the rest of the 17 lads that live in here as well. Everybody who moves in for the first time here must be intimidating for them. And then, but obviously fast tracking to now. This is what I can't get my head around. Is I don't see the staff as staff. I see them as family. I really do. Like, and that's my God's honest truth. I see them as family. The companions here, all remarkable people. Always stick together. If there's someone down, there's always somebody picking someone up. It's just I see it. Nobody out there, and I can say this now for a fact. Nobody out there can do what us 18 lads can do in here. We can't. 18 lads living together in a hostel or somewhere. Well, they could do it, but I just think not many people understand what it's like to live in a place like this. It's there's no fights, there's no arguments, there's not from what I've seen. It's
special place.
It is a special place, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how have I not known about this place? How it's like 42 of them across the country. It's like there's even one in Spain. There's one in France. It's like so it's been a big journey for me, and I'm just so glad that I took that chance. I would have probably come here eventually, but so glad I just decided that morning to just come here, and now it's brilliant. So I'd done barbering before. I was started. I'd done this £8 course. It was online. It was just a cheap course, and then
sorry, there's a course that's £8.
This is a course that's £8, and it's just it's just questions, really. It's not.
That's not helping. That's not helping our industry. No, is it?
So this was just as I got here. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking they can do loads of things for me. They can help me get to places that I want to be at and do. So I started looking around and started looking online, because they tell you to look. They tell you to look for things. We're not going to look for them. But if you decide to do that course, we can have a look at it and support it for you. So obviously not the £8 one. I was just scrolling through the internet, just trying to look. So I done that. And then I've always, from a young age, I loved getting my hair cut. I had good relationships with my barber that was around the corner from where I lived, obviously with my family. And I just find it remarkable barbering. When I was younger, I was like, I'd love to do patterns. I'd love to do, to make, as they say on, don't mess with the Zohan. Want to make people look silky smooth, that's what I'd like to do that and give back to people. And just the fact of, with hairdressing, for me, I'd like to do it as a little bit of a side job, but for me, it's just a hobby for me. I just love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. And if I can, after meeting yourselves and you trusting me to do this and be team leader at this place, and Jackie, she's fantastic. If she's listening now, she's an inspiration to me as well. Yeah, 100%. She's just filled me with confidence since she's come to the sessions here, and telling me, I'm capable of doing it. You're good at what you do, and she wasn't quick. She couldn't have been quick enough to throw the stuff at me. Here's your clippers. Here's the T-shirt. We want you to work with us. Stuart thinks you're an incredible person, and it'd be nice to work with you. And that'll mean a lot for me to do from where I've come from, stuff like that, and my background. I'd like to go to projects and give back to people and make them look fresh and give them a cut and and get to know about their story. Maybe listen to what they're doing, what they've been up to and stuff, and help other people whilst I'm cutting their hair. But that's something that I've really enjoyed, just getting to know yous and being accepted. Being accepted has been a massive part of my life, because I've never been accepted. Always been in the wrong people, but never really been accepted. Always been took the piss out of because of been easily led and gullible at that age and stuff like that. But so now, as I can sit here now and say, is that I've completed my SIA course. I've done that. All conflict management, everything. They paid for it for me. I've done 6 hours of exams. That was hard to do. And I passed it with flying colours. So my license actually came through yesterday.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. So I'm buzzing with that. So that's something that I've done, especially as well when I came here. Didn't have nothing really, Stuart. I didn't have anything like identification, passports, bank account. Didn't even have a bank account.
No.
And I've got absolutely everything I need now for identification. Courses that I've done. I just can't thank these enough for putting the truth. They've said to me though that it's obviously I've got to do it to accomplish it, but to be guided by these and for the trust that they've put in me, it's completely changed my life. Absolutely everything has changed my life since I've been here and what I've accomplished. Never thought I'd be able to do it.
Trust is really important to you, isn't it?
It's a massive thing, massive, really, really big. Yeah, because obviously, just being with friends that are not my friends, they didn't trust me. They obviously didn't like me because they're not the people. They didn't make me feel wanted. I just was with them people because I didn't have nobody to be with. Didn't have no mates really. I'd one or two that I used to see every now and again, but that's why I always needed to prove a point. I'd spend as much money as you want me to spend if I had it in my pocket in a club. If I could have a few people around me, few people just to feel wanted, that's not the life to live. And that's I've learned that as I've been here, and all the things that have happened in my life that have been bad, that are negative, I can finally let all that go. I can finally just let it go, and it's just a distant memory to me. It'll always be there a little bit because it was hard to get over, but it's I need to get rid of all that now. I need that's what I need to do, and I need to push on.
It's freeing, isn't it? It's really free.
It is. So it's
stuff is like in your head, and it's like
it's
like an overloaded tumble dryer, isn't it? Going round.
It is. It doesn't make you. This is what my sister always used to say to me as well. All this in your head and everything that you've got going, all the stuff that you've been through. I know it's hard, but you need to let it go.
Yeah.
As much as it's hard, you need to let it go, because it's not going to make you keep holding them things. It's not going to make you be your 100% potential as a person. It's not, you're just not going to be that person that you want to be in your head. And see, I couldn't sit here knowing that other people are listening now and stuff like that, and they can see me. I would never have done this last year. There's no chance. I just wouldn't do it. I feel a little bit more confident in myself, and obviously now I've got to the point where I just can't believe that the staff have turned around to me and said, "Stephen, this is it now. Like you've come into the end of your cycle here." Obviously, I've been bidding for properties. There's a few that I've come close with, but obviously that'll come in time. It takes however long it takes, but it's not going to be long now. I've got my net, my safety net for my job, my security. To go into security and do that, because that's something I want to do. Maybe hopefully do that. My plan is to do security work, maybe put some money away, start saving some money up. And my dream is to own my own barbershop. And I'm not just saying that just because you're barbers and stuff like that. That has always been my dream, to have my own barbershop. And
that could happen.
100% it can. And it's going to take a long time, but my next step now is to get my own place, and it's not far away at all. And I'm probably going to stay in Sheffield, because I've met some really incredible people here, and I still go down to see my family every other weekend. I still manage to try and get down there and see him. I FaceTime my dad every night, so it's not that bad. Me and my dad have got a fantastic relationship. It's brilliant. Like, if I didn't have the family that I did have around me, I wouldn't be here today telling this. And I know it's been short, and I'm talking at it like 100 miles an hour, but I just wouldn't be here today to tell this story. And I hope it gets to other people. And I don't know, like I'd probably try to give a message to other people. Just try it, no matter how hard it gets in life. It still gets hard for me. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect in life, but if people can listen to this and it can help them out to maybe go a different way, then it's most definitely worth it, because it makes you feel a hell of a lot better to see where you was to where you are. And no matter how hard things are in life, there's always a positive. There's always somebody out there that will help you, and that's what I've been grateful for in my life, because a lot of people have helped me, and it's massive for me, really is.
I can't say enough about how wonderful Emmaus is. But like Jackie is the one really who's done the bulk of the work for us as a charity. Getting us into Emmaus, and I believe she's already got into 8, I think, in the north. And we're planning now. I was lucky enough to have the founder, one of the founders of Emmaus, on my podcast recently, Terry Waite. Yeah, I'm putting
a little bit of that on at the moment. Let myself go, Stuart. Putting a bit of Terry Waite on.
Talk to the wrong bloke here.
I've met him before, actually. I've met him. He's a decent guy, really, really good guy. Yeah, to have a chat with.
And and the thing is, you said about goals. I have goals, and I write my goals down. I read them every single night. I print in my head.
Yeah, I've there's a few different things that obviously I was thinking of doing. Is getting a board up in my room, writing this stuff down, but obviously never got around to doing it. I always I know this might sound cheesy, but what got me through being here as well, the early stages of it, obviously being nervous around people, not really got to know these people yet, and still kind of feeling a bit edgy, not confident in myself. And Leslie told me she can do counselling as well, so she gave me a few sessions, and she was telling me, you need to believe in yourself more. And what I used to do every night before I went to sleep, and every morning I woke up, I used to look at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's not, it sounds stupid.
No.
I used to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know, some days, and I do still have little bad days where my head's all over the place, but you just got to power through that. And but those days where I get up and look in the mirror and say, listen, I am a good person, no matter what I've done in the past. And I'd look at myself in the mirror. I know it sounds stupid, but
no, it's not.
It helped me a lot to just tell myself and look at my own self in the mirror and tell myself that I am a good person. And
not enough people do that. You know, affirmations really work. You know, and
100% little things. What is that? That's the word I was looking. Is it affirmations?
Affirmations. Yeah.
That's it. That's the word I was looking for, because there's a few things that you can say them in all different ways as well. There's loads of different ways that you can say it, but there's loads of different things that have helped me, you know, get through everything. I literally can't thank anybody enough. And I know that this is a shot in the dark, but I never put the lottery on. But if I ever won some big money or came into some sort of big money where I've earned it myself, or won it or anything, got lucky, I would definitely give some money back to this place. And I've got to give back, because where I was a very, very dark place, and
you're giving back more than money, mate. You're giving back hope.
It's not about money. Yeah, that's
inspiration.
But I'd like
stories really giving a lot back.
Of course. But obviously, it's not about money. But money side, like with they're looking to get all different things and a new building next to it and stuff like that. I just love to just come up with the money like that, you know, and just give it, because it's not about that, but it's just
it's a fantastic place, isn't it? I mean, you still got, is it the goats? You got little baby goats there.
We have, well, they're not babies anymore. They're dinosaurs.
I've been there for a little while. Yeah.
They are. They're getting big now. Rodney and Ralph. Yeah, Rodney and Ralph got their own little hut with their names on, stuff like that. So
I've seen
it's brilliant. This place is just they're always there for you. Obviously, if you make wrong choices and whilst you're here and stuff like that, it's not a plain sailing place. They'll come down on you and they'll give you a bit of discipline, and that's what you need. And there's always times, you know, of course you do,
don't we? Definitely. You know, you need it, and as well, we're the best will in the world. Like you said, when your sister was looking after you, know, you could be killed with kindness, you know, and
that's it. Yeah.
You know, but she does. She sounds an amazing woman.
She's unbelievable. She is. She's actually. She's not had a bit of a easy life either, my sister, to be fair. But I'm not really going to get into that. But what I will say is that she's had to do the things that are necessary, and she you know, there's times where she used to live in the hacienda days, and I wish I lived in the hacienda days, because they, you know, them days.
I remember it well.
100%.
Look at me smiling. Look.
That's it. Mine was Wigan Pier. That was I don't know if you've heard of that, but there was a nightclub in Wigan, and it's called Wigan Pier. That was my days. But my sister, she was a bit of a party animal. She used to do things, but she was just pursuing this job at Wivenshaw Hospital. She had to go through the job centre. She had to go on a 14-week course. She was knackered. And now she's 13 years into being a matron at Wivenshaw Hospital. So that's another thing as well. She always used to say to me, if I can do it, and you don't want to know, you don't know half this yet that I used to go to in my life. If I can do it, you can most definitely do it. Yeah. And everybody else can in life, you know. It's but yeah.
I mean,
oh God, sorry, 1 second. I think it's my battery. My battery's going to go.
That's all right, mate. Plug it in.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, we've got our plans for you. You know, it just doesn't end there. The story doesn't end there, because, you know, to see you, it's been such a privilege from my end, because I've seen you having your haircut as a companion, as a guest. You know, one of our guests as a companion. Jackie has sent me pictures, and then, you know, then seeing you cutting hair with your Haircuts4Homeless t-shirt,
crazy,
blew my mind. I was like, yes, go on, son.
He says, but this is the thing. Like, I know when I put it across to Jackie, I never thought, like I said, I love barbering. I've got my own stuff. I've passed the courses that I needed to pass, and Emmaus has put me through them, and I've done it, and it's a massive thing for me, because I really want to do it and carry on with it. Excuse me. I didn't think she was going to turn around and actually after a couple of times she came here, I didn't think she was going to turn around and actually give me the opportunity, and yourself as well, to give me the opportunity. And then for her to say, it's remarkable how far you've come, and it's brilliant what you've done, and it's filled me with so much confidence. And then she's added me into the group of, she wanted me to have my own project in Sheffield. But I know the reason behind that. It's because she don't want to keep travelling up here.
I know,
I understand that.
The weather can get bad on that Snake Pass, It's
of course. Yeah. I was only joking. Yeah, but that's
and I believe
it's massive.
You're looking at Hull as well, aren't you? You're looking at, is it?
Yeah, looking at Hull, going there. Here, there's a few places actually there's a few projects in Sheffield that I want to go and visit. I've phoned two of them. One's called St. Wilfrid's Place, and the other one's Basic something, I think. I'm not too sure. I'll have to have a look at it upstairs. But them two places are like drop-in centres.
Yeah.
So I've phoned them up, and they've said, I need to go through the checks, which that's fine to work with vulnerable people and stuff like that. But to do that, and even to do it here, to go to drop-in centres, do it there, and even if I could, but obviously hair will be flying all over the place. But I think Jackie's done it before in Manchester. Yeah. She's told me that she's been on the actual streets, and she's doing it. She's I shouldn't actually say that, to be fair. She said that hair was just flying all over the place. It was like crystal maze. Crazy. But I'd even just go on the street. I'd love to travel if I had a little bit of time. To do that. Like I said, for a hobby for me, it's to give back, and obviously it's something I enjoy doing.
Perhaps Stu and Steve hit the road, and we do France and Spain.
A bit of Max and Paddy haircuts.
Yeah, that'd be the one, wouldn't it?
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be good. We've got to be creative in our minds and be optimistic about life, because it wouldn't. Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to do something like that. There's loads of things that. This is the thing, like when I was going through all the things that I've been through, all the dark times in my life, and because of the wrong choices that I've made, it's not because it's just happened. I have got to own the fact that what I've been through is because of me. It's because of my choices. It's nobody else's fault. So for me, going through all that, like, I never would think of all the things that I wanted to do. But now, like, my mind's just, because I'm confident and about things and myself now, and I'm in a good place with my mind. I've got all these ideas just flying at me. I want to have my own burger van. I want to be a barber. I want to be a security. There's loads of things that I want to do. And but the main one is to get my own barber shop, put some money away and do that. But I thought I'd be nervous actually, but you've made me feel quite comfortable on this podcast, and it's good to, for other people to be listening, and I appreciate other people listening to it as well. I hope they don't judge me.
No judgment here, mate. I tell you, and the thing is, just to sort of end things, I've got to say, from my point of view, I've got my hairs on my arms are standing up. Like, what this means a lot to me, because seeing you and listening to you, like, I'm getting on now. I ain't going to last forever. You know what I mean? And one of my goals I put down for this year is I want Haircuts4Homeless to be in a place where it carries on after I'm gone.
Yeah.
And
it will though.
You have given me that hope, because to see you coming through and where you're going, that not only have I got fantastic team leaders, that when I'm not here anymore, I know this is going to carry on. And
Of course, I don't think it's going to stop. It's a fantastic organisation, and what you're doing is brilliant. And for you to give me the opportunity, I can't thank you enough. And I'm so appreciative of it. And it's been a good chat.
Yeah. Well, Steve, it's been my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me your time.
No worries.
I'm on the way up there soon. Pretty much, I'm doing a little mini tour of the north, so I'm going up to Sheffield, Manchester, Liverpool.
Yeah, they told me you might be popping down here at some point.
It's happening soon, so as soon as I can't wait to meet you and have a cup of tea.
So good, definitely. It's brilliant. It has. You're a remarkable person, and it's brilliant to meet you properly. And because I felt when we had that conversation on the phone, it was just quite quick, just getting to know each other. But Yeah, it's an absolute privilege, Stuart. It really is.
You're very welcome. Steve, thank you very much.
No worries. Fantastic. Thank you for everyone listening as well. I really appreciate it.